Peace. Thompson's one. And I want to do a video about these hurricanes and all these stuff, all the shit that's popping up or whatever. It's a lot of conspiracy theories, you know what I'm saying, about a lot of these hurricanes being man-made or man-produced or whatever. We all know about the harp. We all know how they can move clouds around or whatever. This is scientists that's saying this shit, not the Tantrics. You understand? Um, there's a lot of people made some videos with a very interesting perspective of what is the reason why they doing this. Is it for land grab? Is it for gentrification? Is it just is it racial cleansing too? We don't even know because, in Texas, I think it's like 30%, Texas is 30% black. But I don't think that they target. I think that this is more about the immigrants because Texas got a big problem with illegal immigrants coming down there. So, but I still don't see like why would motherfucker like what I'm saying? Like we know these people is evil, but that shit down there in Houston, if that shit was man-made, what kind of evil is that? So I'm gonna just play a little bit of this video. I'm gonna try not to use the manhole shit or whatever. He did. I was actually watching. I actually watched it twice because the shit was very interesting. So, shout out to the brother right here. I guess he's European that made it. But like I said, in this war, like basically about all this information or whatever, you gotta definitely cross reference with what you got from what what I'm saying, because it ain't a lot of the conscious community ain't talking about none of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Nor is other people. Only people I see talking about it is certain individuals. You understand what I'm saying? So let me get in this video, bro. Alright.
Hey folks, welcome to another video from aplaintruth.info. I want to get more into the hurricanes, how they're creating the hurricane. Land, air, and sea are using all their equipment to do this. They've been studying it for long periods of time. That report was from 2007. Here's them showing seeding the clouds for hurricanes. Here's Hurricane Katrina with the chemtrails being sprayed above them, but it's not just based on the aerosol spraying. This is Operation HAMP with the government, Hurricane Aerosol Microphysics Program, folks. Here's all their meetings they're having. Their little secret meetings on hurricanes. This was back in 2010. They've known about hurricanes, how to make them, how to slow them down. We haven't had any hurricanes for a while, and now all of a sudden, big whammo that's not going anywhere. Generally, when it reaches land, it dissipates, and this one's just gaining power. And it's gaining power because of all the operating systems on the land, the sea, and the air to keep it there. And this is what I'm going to be proving out here in this documentary, is how this is a weather terrorist activity. This is weather terrorism. This is weather wars. It's also climate collapse as well. But this is directed energy. Here, look at, see, they're using water surface air coolers to seed clouds. This is back in 2010. They've been doing this for decades, 50 years it says. They've been manipulating the weather, folks. What do you think they've been able to develop? How good have they gotten at it? Well, I'm going to show here in the video not just wet surface air coolers when it comes on land, how they're increasing the rain potential, but also keeping the circular pattern, counter-cyclical, counterclockwise pattern going, but also how they're using it in the oceans with their SBX-1 platform, NextRad Doppler devices to steer the weather, also the Silver Lining projects, the ships that are using ocean water salt, making water vapor machines to combine with the cloud condensation nucleol and the barium salt sprayed in the skies. But also a new one. I was sent a patent, a Google patent, from a gentleman in the comment section, or lady, about, I think it's Truth Channel it was named, and really appreciate it because it brought home this new document about how hurricanes are being controlled from up above. High altitude planes and whatnot are manipulating the hurricanes as well. It's very, very well done, well known how to manipulate hurricanes at will. They've been studying this for decades and decades and decades with the best and the brightest. But first I want to get around to all the weather going around the world. It's crazy time, folks. It's going to get crazier. Be prepared, but let's get into it, okay?
Let me just stop and say one thing, right? The chemtrails is actually not even about, I don't think it's about so much of trying to poison the people. I think that it has to do with a lot with what this man's saying right here. But also, there is chemicals that is getting into our body. We don't know if it's nanotechnology, like, what I'm saying, the stuff that they spraying, I've heard a lot of stories, man, that they looked at, like where they spray the chemtrails at, and they seen like these, like, I mean, I don't even know how to explain. I got to do a video about that, but nonetheless, though, what he's saying basically the aerosol that they spray in the air basically slows the clouds down, and they're able to control the clouds by some way. But I'm gonna continue the video so you guys just watch. All right.
Been reporting now for a few weeks. The weather's gone out of control everywhere. Here we had the Luciferian Europe heat wave back in August 4th. It was 117 degrees in Greece and Italy. It's out of control. And this is Siberia, captured the worst Siberian fires in 10,000 years, June 30th. Now, what they're using these fires for, folks, and here's a map, and let me expand this out. And this is Global Forest Watch. Look at the concentration down here in Africa, and look at the concentration of fires everywhere. What they're using the fires for is for the carbon to increase the weather manipulation, to create weather. And this is what Weather War 101 has been claiming. Look down in Africa. They're using the dust and the fires, the dust storms, in order to create weather. Now, whether you say it's a collapsed weather system or weather terrorism, it's both. They can do what they want, but they've lost control. I think it's a combination of both. But here you can clearly see that it's not just Europe, it's a worldwide cataclysmic event that is occurring right now, real time, and it's going to get a lot worse, unfortunately, sad to report. So let's get into this more. And what I just noticed, which is also interesting, is here they're talking about this 10,000 year NASA image, 10,000 years, June 30th, 2017. And here, up in Siberia, they're not showing those fires. And they're naming the new weather patterns, weather clouds. The meteorologists are coming up with new names for everything that's going on in the world. This has been going on last week or a week and a half ago in Brazil and France. All of a sudden, the water rushed out like a tsunami was coming. This happened in Brazil and then happened in France. And it's not being reported anywhere, but look at the boats. The water just suddenly rushed out, and it went away due to the counter-cyclical or counter-cyclones they're blaming it on now, as this guy reports here. Take a listen.
And this right now is going in France. This actually happened. Water is receding, the ocean water is receding in France. That's what happened. So yeah, but the water, don't worry, the water is already coming back. That's what they're saying. We have video of it. We're going to show you. This is being sent by a very special subscriber. Now, this is what I want to show you, folks. This is the coastline. This is Africa and Europe's coastline. We have two enormous, what they're calling, I believe, anti-cyclones. And these babies are responsible for the water being sucked away. Now, this is right now, this is a live feed from France. And the water, you can see the water's coming back. Right? But the camera is moving because someone is, well, this is a live feed, you know, those fixed webcams. Yeah, somebody's moving the camera. Right? So you can clearly see the water's coming back. But
so this is from One Pacific Redwood. I believe it's from the 25th, so when the storm was first coming on shore in Houston. And you can see the water generation vapor devices. If you look on the land, you see the burst, and there it is coming off of Cuba, and there it is coming on land and bursting. And there you see in New Orleans or Florida, you see the burst of weather that are coming when they get on shore with these water vapor machines. There's offshore water vapor machines, as we'll get into as well. But here he's pointing out that as soon as it comes on shore, there wasn't that big a storm, and all of a sudden it got intensified, and then they're parking it now over Houston, over Corpus Christi, and it's going to remain there for days. So we'll have more of this. But here's your evidence, folks. You can see the generation devices. Look, when it hits the land, boom, it just explodes. These are the water vapor generation devices, the wet surface air coolers. And here again, you can see, as he's showing you, how this is being created. It comes in and it bursts. Now, this is keeping the weather in a cyclical pattern. These are water vapor machines being used in the opposite direction to keep the storm in place. Instead of moving it, they're keeping it parked there for days. They announced they were going to do it. They own the weather. They control the weather. They're using the weather as a weapon. It is killing people. This is terrible. This is horrible. Now, out here in California, we're having a heat wave. They just took a false dome off of us here in Northern California, and here you can see they're...
So, look, I'm going to show y'all the other part of how he was doing it, and then you know it's another storm. I guess the hurricane name is Irma. That's supposed to hit the East Coast, like Florida and like Georgia and that region or whatever. So, you know, any of my viewers or subscribers, if you're down in that area, just be prepared for it. Just get your stuff together or whatever you need to do. If you gotta leave for a couple of days or whatever, if you don't feel safe about it, definitely, you know what I'm saying, get up out of it. But we'll continue this video. So this is Right here.
The weather has collapsed, and yes, weather has been weaponized. It's not either or, it's both. So how are they doing this? Weather War 101 shows that they're using chemtrails, they're using wet surface air coolers, NEXRAD, and Doppler devices to steer the weather, and showing here with cooling plants with towers for water vaporation creation, nuclear towers, and nuke towers that don't have it. Here's how we're going to get into, I'll show you how they pass the weather from one system, one water vapor tower to another, and you can see how here it forms and gains power from one plant to another. So they release the water vaporization into the air using these massive amounts of water to create water vapor generation and shoot it up into the air. These are all across the country. And then what they do is they take from one station to the other, and they use the Doppler NEXRAD radar systems, radio frequencies, to generate the power to interact with the aluminum to pass them from one station down to the next station. Here you can see the generation. I believe this is in Texas going on here. And this is how they make weather. They have to use the barium salts with the chemtrail spraying, the aluminum is to direct the storms, and the water vapor machines on land and on offshore, which I'm going to get into in a little bit, which nobody else is covering, is how they direct it from the offshore, which is also how they're keeping Hurricane Horrible Harvey in place. They're keeping it set there. So I wanted to show you that this is how the water vaporation is created, but it also can be used to keep the storms contained. And that's what I want to show you when we look at this video image from what's happening here. See how it explodes? It just explodes from the machines. And that's from the ground-based machines. It's coming up to the sky to connect with the cloud condensation, nuclei, and barium salts, but it's generated from the ground. This is how they have to make weather, or how weather terrorism is made.
So he's saying that them water vapors that they shoot in the air connects with the clouds, and then that water gotta be distributed, you know, you gotta be passed around some way. So it's gonna definitely come in the form of rain, but it connects with the clouds, so the water vapor. And I'm wondering if they doing that, and if this is true, there might be a water vapor plant like that in every state. You understand? So they could do that in any state. I mean, that's just what I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? But that might not be 100% facts or whatever. No, none of this shit might not be 100% facts. But this is the speculation that we got to look into. You understand what I'm saying? So keep it moving.
All right, so let's get it going. What's going on with Harvey today? It is Saturday, August 27th, and here you see the eye of the storm parked right on the coast. Also look at New Orleans. It's not being reported. They're getting hammered, those poor people again. They had 20 inches of rain in an hour last week. The pumps all failed but one. They lied about it. People are getting flooded out. They're just an afterthought, but they're getting pummeled as well. Those poor people.
So I'm going to stop it right there. We already seen what happened to it. We already seen the effects or whatever. This is the, I'm going to give you an update on this, the Irma. Play a little bit of this.
To talk about here, Hurricane Irma holding steady as a Category 3 with winds of 115 miles per hour. I'm going to zoom out here to show you just how far away it is. We're talking thousands of miles, a couple thousand miles, and that's why there's still so many unanswered questions. A lot can happen between here and there. So you have to be patient with us over the next few days, although we are starting to work out some of these questions here. Also want to note a 50% chance of development of a new wave moving off the coast of Africa in 5 days. But since Irma is already developed, we're going to break that one down a little bit. The official track hasn't changed a whole lot. Still going to take a little bit of a dip in the next couple of days, and then it looks like starting to come back up north. There's a strong area of high pressure over the Atlantic, which is acting as kind of that steering current. But look at the intensity. We do forecast this at some point to become a Category 4. Right now moving over the coolest waters that it will for the rest of its lifetime, which is why it's holding steady at a 3, Category 3. But by next week, we're looking at Category 4. In terms of the long-range forecast, that's where the questions are still unanswered. Through the next 5 days, we're pretty confident of going south and then a little bit north. But after that, you can see how widespread the
So they saying that this is, you know, Katrina was a Category 5. They saying that this is a Category 4, and that shit going straight for them islands right there. You got PR, you got Dominican Republic, Haiti, you got Cuba, Jamaica. I mean, you know, all them islands gonna get affected, but it's gonna hit the east coast of North America. It's gonna definitely hit. I mean, it might come all the way up to New Jersey. We might feel it. You know what I'm saying? Definitely in my area. But yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? And you know, a lot of us, we know what happened in Katrina with fucking Blackwater and how they was down there. I mean, allegedly killing motherfuckers or whatever. It's a good video y'all want to check out by Cynthia McKinney. She said that they found that somebody gave her a call about there was 5,000 body bags, and they all had one shot in the head. or whatever, and they was dumping them in the ocean. Now, like I said, this is just some stuff that I've been heard. I heard this during, like, I heard this about maybe about 6-7 years ago. But Cynthia McKinney, you know, she definitely be putting her work in. I haven't heard a lot from her lately, and maybe they might have neutralized her, but yeah, she was one that definitely was putting in a lot of work as far as like a lot of shit that was going on. So I just wanted to make a video about this. You know what I'm saying? Definitely send your hopes and your blessings to the people down there. You know what I'm saying? Especially because it's a man-made. If it was a natural storm, it'd be something totally different. You know what I'm saying? You'll know when it's a natural storm, because it ain't just gonna always target areas where it's highly melanated people at. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's the thing. All these hurricanes and all that shit always hit these certain areas. And Houston is fucked up. Y'all already seen, let me just see if I can pull up some pictures. Y'all already seen how Houston look, man. Y'all already see how this shit look. This shit look fucked up down there, bro. Like, I feel for them people down there, man. You know, we had Hurricane Sandy, and Sandy was pretty bad, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't bad like this. Probably in the areas that was close to the water, but where I live at, there's a lot of hills and stuff. Like down there, it's just straight flat. You know what I'm saying? Like, but up here, like where I'm at, it's a lot of hills. You know what I'm saying? So in certain areas, it did get flooded, but not in all the areas because the water going downhill. So I mean, I don't know, man. This is like, I feel for them people down there no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Even though we know at one point in time, you know what I'm saying, that people, the karma, what happened in this country, you know what I'm saying, for the last 400 or 500 years, gonna have to come to some, you know what I'm saying, you know. But like this right here is crazy, man. This is, you know, I feel for them people down there. Look at these people, man. Look at our people. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is crazy, man. Definitely, they got alligators in the water. You know what I'm saying? But I guess this wasn't exactly bad as Katrina. I mean, the damage looked like it's as bad as Katrina, but I guess because the water's not as deep as it is in Hurricane Katrina. You know what I'm saying? Like Hurricane Katrina, the water was like 30 feet, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how high the water is in Texas, but you know, it looked pretty. It definitely looked fucked up, man. You see all these areas where, man, look, they got people in the back of trucks, man. Like this, yeah. I definitely send your hopes and blessings to them people down there. Now that the hurricane gone, well, I assume it's gone. It's the 2nd of September. So, let me see. Yeah, like he said, it went straight up. It went straight up this area right here, and this is way. So he said, as soon as it hit the land, it made its impact. So you know what I'm saying. So definitely, man, be prepared for Irma if you want anywhere in the Florida region or Georgia, or like on the East Coast, or like the Southeast or the North or the Northeast. Because we don't know if it's gonna come through the Northeast or if it's gonna have enough power by the time it do come through. But just prepare yourself. You know what I'm saying. Definitely get your food, your supplies, your water, you know, whatever you need, you know what I'm saying, definitely be on point, all right? So with that being said, it's a touchless one. I'm out of here. Peace.